All right, welcome back to the Race BMX Show, Ride Out and Culture Exchange. I don't know if we call them rides or ride outs. It's for those of you that don't realize Race BMX Show, it's an acronym, Ride Out or Ride and Culture Exchange. Sometimes people think it's a track show. I'm all for you track guys. I even am a little bit of a track guy myself once in a while. This is the third version of this particular type of episode, not the third episode of the Race BMX Show. We've been going since, I believe, 2018 now. This is the third big bikes, frames, and forks that are available specifically to our world. I've already hit off 2 previous episodes. If you don't hear the one you're looking for, and if you know a bike that you want to hear about, that I don't know about, I'm always up for some more BMX information. If you need some serious heavy information, there's always Bicycle Motocross Museum and people that are more experts than myself. Also, this show is not about the 80s. This is about the nows. Mafia, UK, British, English brand. Very popular. It seems to be growing among some people that are also involved, like the Throne World and the Mafia World crossover. They've been sending bikes and sponsoring some of the wheelie kids. They make a cool looking bike. I wouldn't say it's everywhere, but it's certainly around. Like, no doubt, it's in the world of our riding. And I did see a video by, I believe, the owner during the pandemic, which was pretty cool, where he talked about having so many extra bikes left over after the pandemic that he gave them to children. So, shout out to Mafia. Schwinn. They've been around since 1895, an American original. It's like, I don't know, it's like having some old Hot Rod or Ford or Studebaker from the olden days. But no, they make a bike now. It is more of a Walmart available type of bike. They do a 26, still looks cool. Don't forget, frame and forks, you can change everything else on a bike if you want and upgrade it. It comes to the parts. I'm pretty confident they don't have the best parts on their bikes right now. But I also want to say, if you're just putting your toe in, or if you're not in a powerful financial situation, no bike is a bad bike. It's all better than walking. Kent. I don't even know who does and doesn't remember them. They are also from the 1900s. They were in the Lower East Side of New York and in Newark, New Jersey, so that's places where I've lived and gone to college. I can't buy a bike just based on that memorabilia feeling, but I was surprised to see they have one. It looks pretty cool. I'm sure it's very similar to the Schwinn in the sense it's probably made from heavier metals, and they probably haven't committed a lot to the cranks and stuff and the bearings, but that doesn't mean that it's not a super cool, acceptable bike. You can always upgrade it if that's the one that brings back your childhood feeling for you. No bike is a bad bike. So give it up for Kent Schwinn, ladies and gentlemen. Zabrosa, Current, one of the, I don't want to say edgy, they're just cool, dude. They are also Shadow. They're always putting good looking seats on their bikes. They're matching them up with excellent tires. They always have, I guess, a chic or a not slim. They have a chic view, appearance. They're cool. Like, it would fit on the back of any car and look stylish. You can bring it around anyone. It's a $599 is where their 29s are at right now. They are definitely on the scene. They're like some of those brands. There's a certain group, and I don't even have a particular finger on that like gets them and likes them. They're great alternatives if you're avoiding more popular brands, or you like to have something a little different, or maybe it's just the cut of the frame and the way they pedal that does it for you. But Zabrosa is a fly brand, and I think they can be appreciated by all. Stolen. 2003, they, much like the last bike I spoke about, they're chic and stylish. They're clean. There's not a lot of obnoxiousness going on. There's not a lot, it's a very clean looking bike. They do a good job with their tires and wheels. It's another beautiful bike that's not as popular as some of the more popular brands. And I think that they lean towards, on their smaller bikes, the freestyle crowd and stuff. But, you know, we're all out there with our tattoos, and all you guys have pickups, hot rods, fixed up motorcycles, and customized everything. This is another great bike that fits into that situation. Of course, if it gets stolen, and then you got to put it up on Instagram with stolen written over it, your chances of getting it back probably go down. They want you to know that they build in Taiwan and not China, and that they are about quality. Easton, 1996. They are not out there chasing coverage. They're not, they're not part of the wave of the trend, but they are a strong, beautiful, dependable, well-shaped bike, nice geometry. I don't want to say that they fit in exactly with the Sabrosa crowd. I don't want to be the guy who's going around claiming a bunch of things where he doesn't really know what he's talking about. But it is a nice bike. If I had a friend, some of my friends who don't ride with us, if I had like a dad buddy type of guy who wanted to ride with us but didn't, want to spend real money, you can get a 29 for $299, and it looks good. And just like every other brand, all you got to do is change the handlebars. Dear large BMX bike companies, give us 7, 8, 9-inch bars. Stop giving us the 5s. We're spending enough. We're changing them out anyway. Work with us here. Treat us to some reasonably heighted handlebars. Nobody's using 5s. Nobody's using fixie bars on their BMXs, or BMX Cruiser, or big BMX bike, whatever you want to call it. Elf, 1981. If you guys want to go back and look at my interview with Gary and Craig Turner, that's a father and son situation where dad was involved in son's racing and decided to go build the bikes. Well, Elf's the same way. They've been doing 29s and I believe 26s, of course. Very stylish bike, super cool. They put in the extra work. They've got their, elf crowns in there. It's a great bike. One of my friends, Jay Dizzle, rides one a lot. It's a great way to be glamorous and efficient at the same time. Maybe if you're not after a Bassett or let's say you already have your Bassett and you already have your Craig Turner, an Elf is a nice addition to that family. So go Elf, father, son, 1981. R4. I've never seen one in real life. I have no clue. I've been to their website. They always appear on my Instagrams, though. And they have a frame and a fork for $249, and why not? Because they specialize in making mags. Also, you can get little action figures by them of little weightlifter things with muscles. So we don't know much about them at all, but the bike is out there. Once again, I wouldn't put anything down. You're going to have to, get that, then figure out what your headset's going to be and what kind of adapter and or bottom bracket you're going to be working with. But it's out there. It's an alternative. If you're a type of person that's not after a memory bike or brand doesn't matter and you just want to throw something cool together, you could probably be using their frame for that. Supercross. I was not familiar with them as a young person, but a lot of people just speak about how great they are. And the shape of the frame and the way that they did the back half of the frame, super cool. Something you don't see on other bikes. I believe they're known to be very light, and it's a very stylish, cool bike. It's not out there as much, but they were a 30th anniversary type of situation where they built the big bikes. So I don't know how much further they're going to keep going with that, but it is a cool bike, there's no doubt. One of the other Jays that rides with us has one of those, and it's pretty impressive. Hutch. Hutch for the collectors. When I first came onto the scene, and I don't mean like when I first came onto the scene, I'm the most important person on the scene. I got here in 18 or 19. Around then, there was a Hutch about to come out. Everybody was really excited for it. In my age group, Hutch was like a glory bike to be out on when you were a kid. You looked like $1,000,000. You're dope. Hutch is dope. And they started in 1976. They've got a variety of bikes that randomly come out. People love to get their hands on them. I mean, there's nothing negative that can be said about Hutch, just based off of where they fit into our lives and our world here. You know what I'm saying? This one I am intrigued by. This is more of a bicycle motocross museum or BMXultra.com situation if you want to get your knowledge on them. The Jayhawk. And I'd never heard of it in my life, and one rolled up to 41 Thursday. We were on Gary Street, and it looked like an erector set was made into a bike, and it like had all these cuts in it. And what it is, it's a sheet metal welded frame, and as opposed to tubes like everything else. And if I just had a garage and a pile of money laying around, I would get one of their 26s with that frame and fork and all the cutouts, just to have in my possession for that occasional ride. If it, you know, it's pretty cool to me. I could see someone else having a completely different thought on that. You know, I could see them just thinking it's not for them, but it's cool and it's futuristic and or flashback-alistic, and it's dope. I like it. And some of the different years that I've looked up have different cuts in different places, so there could be some preferential geometry in the workings of the artwork of the frame that others may prefer. Gotta take my glasses off for this. Huffy, everyone's first bike. That's their motto. And they really are and were everyone's first bike. I saw a bike by them, a 26 called a Ruin, and then when I looked everything up, there was a different bike there. And 26, I'm not really sure which one, but I do know that right now they have a 26-inch BMX bike for $150. Is it going to be heavy? Yes. Are your cranks going to make you think that riding a bike is harder than it really is? If you've ridden the bikes that we ride, yes. But, once again, if I had a much larger garage and expendable income, I'd grab up a Huffy just to have a Huffy. A current 26-inch Huffy. They're always going to be dependable. You can always change the parts. A frame's just a frame. If you were in a Huffy when you were a kid, it would be a good friends coming to visit bike to have in the garage. Or, you know, if your wife only rides with you occasionally. I know a lot of the wives out there are better than some of their husbands at riding. I'm not including you in this. But yeah, you can always get a Huffy. So I hope you're watching the show. You can see the full-length ones here. YouTube, Facebook. The audios are on Spotify and Apple, whatever it's called. And then, of course, I cut them up and throw them up on Instagram and TikTok. And, go back, watch my last episode with Rick Thorne, the ESPN commentator and X Games Superfly professional, and movies episode. And go back, watch Toby Henderson, Jeff Botima, Bill from Bassett, Omar, Uncle Eric, that whole crew. It just goes on and on and on. Thank you for being here, and I hope you like my show. I like making it. It's better than normal life.